For any North American open wheel fan, the month of May means Indianapolis. Hence why our drivers have elected to place the Indy Road Course on their schedule this week. Less than a week away from the real Indy 500, this should certainly get everyone in the mood as we get ready to watch Round 7 of Flying Husky Racing. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. With 2 decades of history now racked up on the road course, it's firmly become a part of the Speedway's legend. But let's head to our track guide to learn more about it. Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Though this track is by far more famous for its oval, which has been around for more than 100 years, road racing has become a regular feature thanks to the infield course built at the turn of the century. It has gone through multiple changes since then, but here on iRacing there are 2 road layouts to choose from. Both clock in at just over 2.5 miles, with the moto version including 16 turns and the road version having 13. The bike circuit is far less used on iRacing with its more technical start to the lap, but still runs in the traditional counterclockwise direction. The road circuit, however, runs clockwise and presents a stark contrast between the twisty infield portion and the incredibly fast half that runs on the oval. Passing is often difficult here, but by far the most popular spot is under braking down into turn 1. From there, drivers are taken through a series of corners with little chance to rest between them. However, the exit of turn 11 often proves to be the most critical of the corners, with it leading you back onto the oval. Taking what is usually turn 1 in reverse, drivers build up incredible speeds. This tends to cause slipstream battles to erupt and can often make for close, exciting finishes. Formula 1, IMSA, and MotoGP have all taken to the track, but currently IndyCar has become the biggest event the road circuit sees all year. Preceding the traditional practice and qualifying weeks leading to the Indianapolis 500, the Grand Prix of Indy has become one of the more desirable victories to claim. While there is still a proportionally small amount of history built on this version of Indianapolis, it's quickly becoming both a popular and well-used portion of this famous racetrack. DJ, you and I certainly have a special place in our hearts for this track, but for our audience, try and explain what it's like running an open wheeler around here.
Well, Joe, there is nothing like it in the world, even if you are turning right and left on this Indianapolis road course. Now, this is, of course, the old school Indianapolis road course that was here at the first inception of the road course concept at Indianapolis, ran here with the Formula One cars back between 2000 and 2007. As such, there's not nearly as many passing opportunities as we see on the modern road course, but the biggest one of all, well, that is after the long drag through what we standard think of as turn 1 down into this first corner in the road course section, that chicane that leads you into the infield. That is a very, very good opportunity to try to get a pass done. From there, it's going to be a little bit of follow the leader. There may be a little bit of a chance on the left-handed sweeper off of the back straightaway, although there's not a whole lot of braking that goes into that corner before you get into the sort of Mickey Mouse section that then follows. It's a very, very tricky set of corners, and trying to get that 90-degree left-hander in particular, that can be a real bear to get absolutely right for these drivers, especially then the follow-up after that, get it blending back onto the actual speedway itself. If you carry a little bit too much speed through there, not uncommon to see a car or 2 spin wide. It may look like a relatively simple course, Joe, but it is very, very difficult, and it is a challenge all the way through.
No doubt about that. But before we get to that challenge, let's talk about our sponsors, which includes Norsled, which is a nonprofit animal welfare organization dedicated to rescuing, rehabilitating, and finding homes for unwanted, abandoned, and abused husky dogs. Today, every Flying Husky Racing track day or car event benefits Norsled, with a portion of the proceeds donated to them. Even if you can't adopt, you can still help and ensure care for these amazing animals through your support. Save a Husky. For more, contact Todd Curtis through email at todd@flyinghusky.racing.
Flying Husky Racing is car club based in the Pacific Northwest that delivers premium track days and car events for automotive enthusiasts. FHR is dedicated to safety, development, and building community among members and participants. Find out more on the web at flyinghusky.racing. Flying Husky Racing. Track days are the best days.
Now, for today's event, we are, of course, going to be in the Dallara F3 as we always are. It is round 7. And it'll be a 25-minute race. They are in the midst of their qualifying session, only 15 minutes to try and set their best lap. They also have fast repairs available if they get damage out there today. But with it being a modern Grand Prix track, there's actually barriers quite far away for these Formula 3 cars. They should have to go for quite a distance before they hit anything, at least in most of them. There is always opportunities to upset things. Andrew Warren has upset things by coming in and taking the pole away. He wasn't even in here for more than a single lap of practice, I believe. And in qualifying, he is already the quickest as Broomhead actually gets close within about 300ths. And now Jacob Exton goes faster with a 23.2.
Yeah, and as we saw there, I think this isn't going to be a fast lap out of Andrew Warren. Got a little bit held up by Hans Salnave there coming through the second part of the first infield section. Now pilots his way back onto this long sweeping right-hander that leads you through the turn 1 for the Indianapolis 500. You do want to bring that car down. It is like you are just driving that thing normally on carb day. Bring it on down and then let it run back wide. Carry as much momentum as you can. Let's see Warren proving me wrong right there, able to go a little bit faster and bump himself up to a 23.190.
Excellent qualifying from Warren. We're used to seeing him in the majors in the Americas region, where he runs with the big dogs. And, well, I have to say that he is certainly not one to trifle with. Jacob Exton is still within a 1/10 of a second, though. So we could see him continue to try and challenge Andrew. This will certainly be enlightening to see how quick some of these guys are in comparison to him. Let's see what the Canadian can do as he gets ready to cross the line once again. Finish comes up relatively quick here, and it's not going to be a quick one, unfortunately. Now, I wonder if we could turn the cameras over to Michael Broomhead in the 00. He actually has a special livery on here this evening, and we all are actually very much a fan of this livery. Now, this has been designed by Broomhead's partner's eldest daughter. She turns 11 this week, so happy birthday. And she has designed this form, and it actually looks very, very snazzy, I have to admit. So I enjoy it. I think, DJ, you concur. You seem to be pretty enamored by it, and I think she's got quite the design career ahead of her. Certainly fostered along by her by Broomhead here, who does helmets, like I mentioned.
Yeah, indeed. It's a very, very popping design. Particularly love that yellow and green on there, really popping out well. As you look there on our scoring tower, Andrew Waring able to go faster by the tune of about 3.5 of a second. That's an outlap there for Michael Broomhead, so that's not going to be a good one for him. So Waring starting to assert a little bit of dominance. The one thing that I'm a little bit confused at with some of these drivers here, Joe, I would have thought the draft would have been factored in a little bit more, get a big toe on the speedway sections of this track. But here comes Exton. Is he able to respond? He is with a 23.0. That'll be a fast time for him, but he'll still be off of our leader, Andrew Waring.
Just shy of 0.2 of a second. He's within range. He's got 6 minutes left to go. And I have to agree, I think I've seen 1 or 2 drivers use the slipstream, but nobody seems to be working together right now, which is a bit strange. Corollary, in the meantime, at 23.4, and that'll put him onto the second row. Here's Andrew Waring, our provisional pole sitter, coming through the final corner, and they can just hug that right side. He's going to try and shorten the line as much as possible, as that thing is glued to the ground even at 150 miles an hour. It is a 22.4. Exton now has to make up 0.6 of a second.
Oh my goodness, Andrew Waring did not come here to play. He came here to win. But we are currently watching James Doherty, currently back in 7th, the Floridian, getting that car off of the corner. Let's see if he's able to improve. He is not. About 0.2 slower there on that last lap, as we've got just over 5 minutes to go here in qualifying.
Broomhead's crossing, but it looks like that one won't count either, so he needs to get a cleaner lap in. He's in third. He is certainly going to want to be on the front row, so Exton is up next to try and respond. A major gap to make up now for the 22. And this one is not going to be quicker. He's about a 10th off of his fastest. That doesn't bode well.
No, it does not. There you saw a quick flash of Broomhead. Dan Garber able to pop himself up in the order. Nice job for Dan there. That's going to put him in third place with a 23.3. Still a long ways off of our leader, but Scarali, is he going to be able to improve, able to go down to a 23.2? That'll put him into third place.
Wow. So driver after driver is finding time out here, and it is a pretty hot day, so I'm wondering if people are just finally acclimating to these slippery conditions. Look at that track temperature, 114 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's very, very slippery. Waring there, not able to go faster, but putting in another 22.4, so that's a bit of a warning shot for these drivers. That slippery track condition is going to be particularly scary, Joe. Just before that area, we saw Michael Broomhead come through the exit out of the infield section. It's a lot of fast-handed right corners, and the car is very easy to want to step out on you. But let's see what Broomhead's got. He comes to the line, not able to go faster.
Behind him, Doherty also on an out lap, it appears. So Exton is going to be our next one in the 22. Last time, just a 10th off of his quickest, but has to make up well more than that. Is this going to be good? It's looking fast as he crosses. A 22.7 is closer. It's within a quarter of a second, but it's still not good enough. He's continuing to try and challenge Andrew Waring.
And there you saw Dan Garber setting a personal best time to keep that third place position, but let's see if Tyler Scarali has anything to say about it. Here comes the Canadian driver to the line, trying to improve on that 23.1. Not able to do so there with a 23.3, so he will stay in fourth for the moment.
Behind him, Horvath doesn't improve, and then up next is Waring yet again. Is he going to lower the bar even more? He comes across. It's a 22.2. Goes another 0.2 faster. Jacob Exton has yet more work to do.
Does indeed. There you see Colander there behind him trying to get a little bit of a tow. We're going to jump on board the roll hoop here with Jacob Exton. Little bit of a late apex coming into there. That's a very easy corner, by the way, to pick up a 1X, swing the car wide and bring it back out again. Slow car in front of him. And now let's see, able to get through the hardest part of the track. It's relatively easy from here on out from Exton, just trying to carry as much speed as he can.
That was Saul Nave just trying to stay out of the way. He has yet to set a competitive time on the track. That's why you don't see him with one on the board yet. So as Jacob comes around out of that final corner, he's got to make up 0.4 of a second, and he's going to go slower this time. Oh, having a rough one out there. Dan Garber also improves to a 22.8. He's within a 10.5 of Jacob. He might actually steal the front row off of him.
He might. Jacob's going to have to look over his shoulder. I think this is a bit of a glitch on our timing screens. Let's see there. Looked like a 123 something. 123.166 for Tyler Scarali. So that's going to be a best time for him, but he's not going to be able to move out of that fourth place. Here comes Waring again. Can he go even faster?
Bad news for Broomhead fans. He spun off, so he's done with his qualifying as he can't start again. So we're looking at Colander now, and it looks like as he crosses, that one doesn't count for him. Waring did not improve. Either he was on an out lap or he had an off track somewhere in there. So we once again check on James Doherty with a 27 flat. The reason we're making such a big deal about Waring and who can match his time, the majors, for those not aware, is a series that literally pulls people from all over the world to compete. So these are actually the best in the world coming together, and some of the toughest races that they have mimicked: the Indy 500, the Daytona 500. Doherty goes faster to a 24.3. So this is some serious competition. For Waring to have won a race and be competitive in that series tells you that he is literally among the top talent that you will ever see here in iRacing. So for anybody to get close to him is a testament to their talent today.
Very, very much is a little bit of a draft battle shaping up here. That's Salnave and Scarali coming to the line. Scarali able to improve ever so slightly. Oh, and there's contact between him and Salnave. That's going to end both of their sessions. Waring now to the line, able to go even faster, Joe, with a 22 dead.
Wow. Jacob Exton now unable to respond since he is in the pits. So up next, Broomhead, who, as I mentioned, is not able to get out in time, so I don't think this is going to be a counted lap. Indeed, it is not. Behind him, Colander also had an off track somewhere. Doherty is up next.
Yeah, so there comes James winging that car out onto the Indianapolis Motor Speedway proper, bringing it down through the famous banking and onto the main straightaway, lining it up here. This is going to be close for Doherty, not able to improve.
See, we've got Horvath, and I think that is it. Last car to be able to set a time, and he's abandoning it. That is it for Horvath. So our grid is now set here today, and a hot day out in the Midwest should provide us some entertaining stuff. And we are both looking forward to seeing what these F3 cars have in store for us. 9 of them, only one was not able to set a time. Salnave never did get himself a time that counted, unfortunately. So he'll start from the back of the field. We'll get through that full order in just a moment's time. So as we wait for that session to get down to 0. DJ, I'm curious to see, because we haven't, as you mentioned, we haven't really seen what the draft offers, how far back it goes. Have you had a chance to get out in the cars and see kind of what kind of effects, what the gap should be to start feel it?
My estimations, Joe, I was able to run a little bit today. I think it's going to be about 1.3 seconds is what we're going to be looking at to be able to pick up a little bit of that toe and be able to go a little bit faster. I think by the time you get onto the main straightaway, though, you're going to want to be within about a second, and that's where we may be able to see some passing going on. So for Waring, he's going to want to get out of that 1 second window as fast as he can.
Yeah, that could allow some hangers-on throughout the race if you can't shake them. We've seen in races past that it is all about the mistake mitigation. So through our order here for the start, it is going to be Andrew Waring on the pole. Jacob Exton starts in second. You've got Dan Garber in P3, and to his outside, it'll be Nick Horvath rounding out the first half of the field in fourth.
In fifth, it'll be Tyler Scarali, followed by Michael Broomhead, with James Doherty and Nicholas Colander making up row 4 behind them. And then to bring up the back of the field, it will be the number 7 of Hans Salnave.
Going to do a rolling start here today, just like IndyCar. So don't have to worry about that standing start heading down into the first corner, but it will also mean that they could get a little bit more slipstream for somebody to try and sneak by guys like Waring at the beginning of this event. I think we've got everybody out there. Yes, indeed we do. So that Porsche pace car should be leaving any moment now. Knowing that, I mean, with the fact that the slipstream could allow people to cling to that gearbox throughout the race, DJ, how do you play this one?
Well, I think what you really want to do is just try to get as far ahead as you can during this twisty infield section. You're not really going to be able to do a whole lot to defend coming onto the main straightaway. You're going to be a sitting duck out there. There is not a whole lot that can be done. So these drivers, the skill is all going to be going through that infield section, and the area to take up the most time where you can really start to cut those numbers down, that's going to be the run after the backstretch. It's a very tricky sequence of corners. It requires a lot of patience to get it down to that low gear, first gear, 90-degree left-hander, and then bring it out again. You can make up a whole lot of time there, and you can lose a whole lot if you're not ready for it.
Cars getting their tires and brakes up to temperature here on the pace lap. So who will we see be able to kiss the bricks after today at Indianapolis's Grand Prix course? Andrew Waring showing up for the first time in this series and really laying down a marker for everybody to try and step up and catch him. You can see them weaving back and forth, putting heat into those tires here today. But if you want to get into the conversation yourself, we want to remind you that the hashtag for this series is Track Days Are the Best Days. So get onto social media of your choice and use that one to talk to drivers and fans of your choice and find out what's going on, what they're thinking, and how they felt about each upcoming race. And of course, the previous one. We'll see if we get any interesting chatter from them after this is done, as we now just have one more corner to go. And that Porsche pace car should duck in after it comes out of the first corner. So they'll have to wait a little bit longer, but it'll give Andrew Warren control to start when he pleases. As they come through turn one backwards up to the fans. Porsche pace car now heading in. Does he go right away? He does. Green flag is out. Andrew Warren takes off down towards turn one, not getting into his slipstream. Jacob Exton holds to the left-hand side. Behind them, it's still side by side between Horvath and Garber for third. And it looks like Garber's going to send it in deep down into the first corner. Otherwise, it is quite single file into that turn.
Yeah, it really is. I thought Exton was going to have a little bit of a move there. You can take a pass along the outside, carry a little bit more speed, and try to use your momentum to keep up. But Waring just so much better on the binders. Really, really able to pull ahead. The battle really starting to shape up now, though, between second, third, fourth, and fifth.
This is not looking good for Jacob. He's already lost about a second on Andrew Warren. He's going to have to hustle at the end of this lap to get into that slipstream, like you mentioned, DJ. Coming down into turn 8, a couple of the cars still weaving to try and find some temperature. That's a bit surprising with the high track temps today.
Yeah, not exactly what I would expect now. Now we're down into that tricky infield section. This is where I said you can make up so much time or lose a lot of it. Looks like in there that Garber's going to have a whole handful of Nick Horvath behind him if he's not careful. And Horvath, too. Michael Broomhead is going to be all over him.
Already 1.7 seconds ahead of them. Andrew Warren is off like a shot. And the slipstream battles are starting for second place. Garber going to go around the outside. Horvath, does he try the middle? He thinks about it, and I think he is now backing out. He'll slot in behind in the racing line. Down to the inside. Exton doesn't have a nose ahead, but he's got the desired racing line coming into the corner. Oh, and Warren has missed his entry. He's outbraked himself, so the lead is going to go to Garber, who has overtaken Exton, and Horvath slots into third.
Oh my goodness gracious, a rare mistake out of Andrew Waring here. There we can see it. We got to roll back just a little bit more to check this out. Here he comes, going down the start-finish straight, and he's going to come into the braking zone here, past those green cones, gets on those binders. Joe, I just think he left his braking a little bit too late there.
Looks like it. He falls to 8th. And is already trying to work his way past James Doherty. But we're looking at Garber, who's got half a second over Exton. Jacob probably kicking himself, losing out a good chance to lead this race. We're riding on board with Horvath as we follow the top two.
He's trying to close in on Dan Garber in front of him. That gap is about 8.5 tenths of a second, so he'll get a very, very good pull. He'll be able to get some maximum speed as they make their way onto the speedway itself. But he's going to have a whole mirror full of Horvath and Broomhead. They're coming up behind him.
Horvath able to use the slipstream to slingshot past Exton. Go around the outside. They're going to go 3 wide. Here comes Broomhead with an excellent run down the inside. The double aught approaching the first corner is going to be very shallow into here. Can he catch it? Yes, he does. He'll get himself into second with that move as they continue to fight for third. Exton with just a nose ahead over Horvath, and as they enter turn 4, he shuts the door.
And this is really where you're going to see passing opportunities start to dissipate there if you are Nick Horvath. So he has just got to do what he can to stay up behind and not try to let anything bad happen. Gets a better run there through that long left-hander, and again here onto the Holman straight. This could maybe be a little bit of a path into that second infield section if Nick Horvath plays his cards right.
Oh, big defensive move, almost squeezing him down to the inside. He's given space at the apex. Can Horvath go around the outside of the second one? He's going to try, and he's got it. Oh, no! Swinging into the side of Exton. That was Colander.
I think they may have just narrowly avoided contact, or if there was any, it was just wheel to wheel, both cars looking. And you can see there in the back of that group, that is already Andrew Waring starting to come up and challenge.
Yeah, but he's coming into a bee's nest here. He's got to be careful. Things could go wrong now that he is in the thick of it. That is Corollary to his right side. I wonder if he's going to be able to get the run. No, almost looked like he lifted a little bit.
Yeah, maybe worried about getting a little bit too much speed running into the back of Colander there ahead. He's going to slide into line. He does get the pass done. So right now, that's Exton, Horvath, Colander, and Waring.
Whoa! And another touch with Colander, this time with Waring. Just made that car hop. I'm actually amazed it's still rolling at speed.
I am too. I would have thought for sure there'd be some suspension damage potentially on one or both cars there. But man, you can just see those closing speeds of Andrew Waring. He has got a rocket ship under him today.
Now he's up to Horvath, who was side by side with Exton into turn one as well. That was for third position. He's quickly making his way past drivers now that he has caught this main group. Doesn't get enough of a run down into 8. For those curious, Waring is about 4.3 seconds behind our leader, Garber.
Yeah, so that's going to be a real challenge once he starts to get up through some of these guys and has some clean air to deal with. That's going to be all on his own to try to get that speed matched. But right now, he clearly has Nick Horvath in his sights. Going to get a good pull here through the final corner, swing out to the outside, and carry that momentum.
Gets a nose ahead, but he's hit that wall of air. It's not as much speed now. And Nick Horvath still keeps himself poked to the inside, hoping he can try and come back at him. Oh, but he overtakes himself, just sending it too deep into the corner. He'll fall back to 5th, Waring up to P4.
Waring really can't be denied. Wow, a big wiggle there out of Jacob Exton. That's going to give Waring another opportunity to poke his nose around. Very, very tricky to get a pass done here, but he's going to be late on the binders and gets it done. Andrew Waring. Ooh, tail getting a little slappy, though.
Using up a lot of stuff to try and climb his way through the field, and he was wide there off of turn 7. Exton getting close. No, he doesn't send it in. He'll stay behind. In the meantime, up at the front, Garber's not had it all his own way. Broomhead has chopped this down to within a second.
Yeah, Broomhead's not making this easy. Now, that's going to be in that good draft range. He may not be able to fully get a pass executed here, but he is going to be getting a good pull as they work their way onto the main straight.
Right on board with Michael, the Canadian, trying to see if he can pull on the American, and it comes down to about 0.6 of a second. So yeah, he is feeling the effects of it, and he sets the fastest lap of the race on top of things. He is really on it right now. I think he smells a sniff of a win.
I certainly think he does too. He's definitely starting to pull up behind, but he's got to be careful because that blue and orange Formula 3 of Andrew Waring, that is coming on like a train with a full head of steam here. He has got to be careful not to get too overeager. If he battles a lot with Dan Garber, it'll pull Waring even closer.
That's a good point. And last lap, Waring, even with his fighting, was a 1:22.4. Broomhead, a 1:22.8. Actually, that means that Waring should have taken the fastest lap. Did he not? Or did he have an off track in there?
Looks like he's got credit for it right now, Joe, so that must have just kind of slipped past our timing screens. But here we go, working their way back on to the Speedway section. Broomhead able to get that gap down to under 0.6 of a second now. Waring is about 1.3 seconds back now, so he'll get a little bit of it, but I think this move is going to be for P1.
Yeah, he's got it down to 0.4 of a second. Is he close enough? Garber trying to hold the middle of the road. Broomhead reeling him in. It's down to 0.2 of a second. Will he have enough straightaway for it? No. Garber goes in deep, though.
Oh, he does. Broomhead smells some blood in the water, moves his car to the outside, coming through this infield section. Tries to get a little bit of an over-under look there, but nothing doing. He doesn't quite have it. And all of that fighting, Andrew Waring now closing down under a second back.
Whoa, wait. Way too deep, I would have thought, but he holds it around the outside at first. Broomhead with an ambitious move, and that shakes Garber off of his line. He's going to take the lead. Waring now has a chance to try and get in a second as he's got the speed, but he'll be forced to the outside. Garber giving him just enough space, and deep on the brakes, the 9 going to take second away. Can he get Broomhead now?
Well, let's watch the exit out of the corner. Better run there for Waring, able to keep a tighter line coming out. Keep a very, very good line. The gap is now hovering at around 4.5 tenths of a second. He has got a good run here.
He's going to have the slipstream. I'm not sure if the 00 is going to really be able to do anything to fend him off with the speed and the draft in the favor of the number 9. Coming around the outside, down towards turn 1. He's not fully ahead. He's going to have to be very good on the binders here to get this one done the long way around to the first apex. Both of them spotting their brake markers. He does send it in deeper, but it's too deep once again for Andrew. He'll have to settle for second.
Locks up those front tires, and that's a lot for Jacob Exton, who made a very nice pass on Dan Garber down the main straight. Ooh, pokes his nose down the inside as they go through the right-hander. He's going to have a little bit of a run here, I think. They're side by side coming down into the next sweeper, and Exton backs off a little bit, letting Waring ahead. Garber says, maybe let me through here. Nothing doing there as they make their way through the right-hander that leads onto the Holman straight.
I almost wonder if Exton saw Garber behind him threatening and thought, I have to cover this off and get back onto the racing line, or I could be under threat. That mistake was very costly for Andrew. It's up to 1.3 seconds, so he will get a little bit of that slipstream, but he's going to have to fight his way back into within range of attacking Michael. They come on to the oval portion now. Oh, it's down to 9 tenths of a second. Waring is just a lightning bolt out there.
Yeah, he really is. We keep our eyes peeled, though, back here on this battle. This is Exton and Garber. Garber looking to carry a little bit more momentum through the corner, taking a later apex to maximize that speed. Looks like it's going to work out for him. Didn't get a full lot of draft there, but the massive amount of speed he's going to be carrying, able to put him side by side. It's going to be a battle of the brakes coming down into turn 1. Who is going to be the bravest? It looks like Exton's able to hold out, and indeed, he holds on to that final podium position.
Nicely done by the 22. So up to third ahead of him. Waring's already checked out. He's down to 7 tenths of a second behind Broomhead and 2.5 seconds up the road from Jacob. So this has been some fun racing amongst all of these drivers as we check on that battle for the lead. Last time, Broomhead gave it a little bit too much to try and overtake the 00. Has he learned his lesson?
We'll have to see. This is where Broomhead's been able to get caught a little bit by Andrew Waring. Again there, obviously a little bit of the concertina effect, but Waring carrying some tremendous speed, cuts that corner just to the right effect. Gap is now down to 3.5 tenths of a second, so I've got to think Waring's going to be looking for a move here, and indeed lines up in that slipstream. He's ready to go.
Will this be a slam dunk? We thought it would be last time. Andrew pulls on him, going way down. Oh, and he cuts off the inside at the last moment. All fair there between them. Waring, once again, on the outside, as he was last time. This time he doesn't break too deep. Oh, maybe going for the over-under, looking for the pace off of the second apex. It's not quite there.
It's not, but he's close enough to maybe think about it if he can force Broomhead into a little bit of a mistake here. Not able to do anything there. Now something to keep in mind, that's Hans Seldnev ahead. That's some lap traffic they're going to have to contend with. Here comes Waring. Is he going to try to make a move on the outside?
He thought about it. He's done it once before so far in this race. Doesn't quite work on Broomhead. He's a little too good for that. No, he's going to spin it and hand over the lead. Can he get it turned around is the question. He wanted to, and he couldn't do a full flick spin. He'll come back in 5th. Let's look at the replay.
And this is so easy to do through this corner. Joe just carries a little bit too much speed, takes a little bit too much of the curb. It's a very, very hard corner. There you can see the tire start to overspin and just spins him out.
Now, Waring has gotten by, but he's having difficulty lapping Salnave. He's just been kind of in an awkward spot through the S's section there at the end of the infield. Now I think he's able to get through.
Yeah, he's going to be able to carry a little bit of speed here, but Salnave not backing off. What this in turn is allowed to have happen is Jacob Exton's getting a little bit of a run here up on our leader.
Ooh, this could be a pass. This might actually be 3 wide with the lap traffic on top of things. Ooh, has to get out of the way, and he's going to make a little bit of contact, and he's in the wall.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That is a big and an even bigger kerfluffle there behind. That, I believe, is Colander Horvath. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Horvath made some contact with him. Yeah, I put that one a little bit on Nick. He really should have lifted on the front stretch there.
Yeah, Hans really got in everybody's way there. The contact with Waring, putting him out of place, and then all of that behind, just absolutely gathering everybody up.
It looks like most of them are able to keep going. I don't see anybody taking a tow into the pits, well, except for Saul Naves. He's had to finally park it, it looks like. We'll see if he takes that spare car and gets back out. This, in the meantime, is the battle between Broomhead and Waring. How is Waring still in third after that? Oh, but the car is damaged as he struggles to keep it straight out of the S's. Wonder if he'll pop into the pits to take a spare car. He's only got 9 minutes left to make up for that, though, if he does.
Yeah, I was looking at his car as he was coming through there. It looked like some pretty heavy damage to the front wing. I think he's going to try to soldier on here. Waring, of course, I'm talking about there. Broomhead looks like he's able to keep going and keep pretty clear here. But Andrew Waring is going to be diving down at the pit lane.
And I don't think he's allowed to enter the pits where he did. I think he might have to have a penalty from that. And that's automated from the iRacing system. So that'll be an unsafe entry, and he'll be even farther behind. So we're now once again looking at a few of our front runners. This is Scarali, who is trying to chase down Colander for the podium, but he's also got Doherty not far behind.
No, he doesn't. Doherty definitely trying to close down a little bit. Those gaps are all holding at about a second or so. So not definitely out of the realm of possibility that we could see a challenge here for this final podium position.
Above it all, the one who inherited the lead in that crazy melee into turn one was Jacob Exton in the 22. And he has got a gap of about 4.5 seconds over Broomhead. Those two seemed relatively closely matched before, so I'm not sure if the 00 will have enough time to try and run him down.
And I'm not sure exactly if he'll be able to or not, but rest assured he is going to try his darndest to try to get out and make the fight out of this if he can.
Okay, so we're down to 7 cars left on the track now, with 7 minutes to go appropriately. That battle, though, for the third position is still quite close. Colander is a lap down, so he is not in this. He's back out on the, or Garber rather, is a lap down, and Colander is the one in third trying to keep Scarali behind him.
Yeah, doing a relatively good job here. Tyler's put up a pretty stout assault. Got that gap down to about 0.8 of a second, dropping even more now, but down to 0.5 of a second. As this is really, really starting to bunch up here with them in the middle.
Closing in. Oh man, he's gonna get a double slipstream. No, he's not. Great move by Garber to see the blue flags there, let them through. But still, it'll be a heavy dose of the draft for Scarali behind Nick Colander. Coming down the front stretch, he's about 0.4 of a second behind right now. You can already visibly see him closing in. Will this be enough? He is looking so much quicker, 0.1 of a second now. Covering off the inside, Colander wants to try and make him go the long way around. Scarali not deep enough on the brakes.
Yeah, not able to quite get it done there, but he is going to have about 6 minutes left to do it. Ooh, better run there out of the corner. He's going to poke his nose down to the inside, try to carry that speed through, and that's going to send him spinning.
Oh, and that's in front of, that was Doherty, who ran into him as well. Who is going to be able to take this third place then? Doherty's severely damaged. It's Horvath is going to get it. Here's the incident.
Yeah, there you so. It's a very ambitious move from Corollary. You can see that tail start to slide out there already, and they just gets into it with Colander. Big clip there. Very, very tough to see. You know how much he wanted to move himself forward and just wasn't able to get it done.
Oh, and it's not going to be Horvath. Horvath went off in the very next corner. So Colander does wind up in third, but now Nick is right on his tail.
And judging by the way the Colander's car is a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of damage. Indeed, I see some right front wing damage on that silver machine. He's going to try to do his best here. We ride on board with Nick Horvath. Yeah, look at that speed difference between them. I think he's definitely going to be able to take him.
Ooh, it was very close to him there for a brief moment. As Colander, well, he didn't go into the pit lane there unless he does the same thing we saw before. No, he's not going to do what we saw Waring do, which sadly he has DNF'd for today, it appears. He did not manage to get back out on the track. So Colander falls to fourth. Scarali is, very, very damaged. Scarali is also going to get a pit entry penalty as he entered the wrong way. So that'll give him extra hurt on this unfortunate day. So Michael Broomhead, we said he was 4 seconds behind. Well, it's down to 2.5. Is this enough pace to catch Jacob?
It very well might be the way Michael's been running. I don't really expect him to. He takes another 10th out of it there as they come out of that infield section. I don't really expect him to gain a whole lot of speed as they get up to full chat on this main straightaway. It's not really in effect of the draft. Takes a little bit out there more. That's just, I think, residual of a good run out of those final corners. Let's see if Michael's able to take some good time out here, though, through this first sequence.
It was 4/10 quicker for Broomhead that last lap. If he does 4/10 every lap from here, I think he will be within the slipstream, but it's no guarantees. It'll be tight. He might actually have to snipe him at the line.
I think you may be right, Joe. He's just got to pray he can get that thing down to about that 1.3 operating window and hopefully down before that. Come out here onto the home and straight. That gap's holding at about 2 seconds flat.
So 3 minutes to go. Are we at one or two laps? We're definitely at 2 laps. Are we at 2 or 3 left here in this race? Coming down through the S's now. 2.1 seconds between them. He hasn't gained a whole lot here. What about onto the main straight? Now it's just foot to the floor until you get to turn 1. Not much to do except be as smooth as possible. Doesn't seem like he gained much this time. Well, the clock will tell the tale as it always does. And Exton with a 22.8 that time. A little bit quicker for him. 22.6 for Broomhead, so 2/10 knocked off.
Yeah, he was able to do it, but when they exited the corner, it looked like that gap went up a little bit. So I think he's going to have to try to really press again through here. I think Broomhead was better through this first infield section, but he's already lost about a 10th of a second to Exton in front, Joe.
I think it might be white flag next time by. They're running 122 laps. And he crossed, I think, with less than 240 to go, which would be the limit. Gets it down to about 2 seconds. He's still not within that slipstream. He needs to chop off 6/10 here to try and pull the toe.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to have it. That 2-second gap, not really moving at all. He needs a mistake out of Exton, and Exton not looking like he's going to give him one.
Trying to run as smooth as possible. Can the 22 stay cool under pressure? He's no doubt seen that the gap has come down. He's got to know that he's being chased here. And there it is. And it's going to be white flag at the line as Jacob Exton, who started this race on the front row, has been up and down the order and is getting ready to take the victory. Broomhead was slower that time, a 23 second lap there, with Exton a 1:22.7.
Just not able to turn it in there. The gap now down to about, or up to 2.5 seconds. Time is winding out for Michael Broomhead, and I think it is really all down to Exton just not making a mistake through these final couple of corners.
Still, it's actually gone up 2.5 seconds now to Broomhead. Is Michael overdriving the car, trying to get it up to that gearbox? These two are a full 30 seconds away from Nick Horvath right now. So it is just between them down into turn 8. Just a few more to go as we ride on board with Broomhead. It's down to 2.3 seconds. He's regained a little bit.
He's fought back a little bit, but that's still not enough to be in draft range. Piloting their way out of the last couple of corners now. And we ride on board with Broomhead. Exton just too far out of reach.
Jacob Exton out of the final corner takes victory here today at Indianapolis to kiss the bricks for Flying Husky Racing. Broomhead will follow him home in second. Only 2 other cars on the lead lap, and Horvath just spun from third. I think he's going to be able to get it going. Those aren't for position behind him. That's Corollary and Doherty. Well, they're for position amongst each other, I should say. That's for 6, but they won't be able to take the podium away from Horvath.
Exactly, yeah. The guy behind him, Nicholas Kolner, just now working his way through the Mickey Mouse section. So Horvath going to be safely comfortable in this final podium spot.
And it is going to be Corollary ahead of Doherty in the end amongst those two. That is the last of our finishers. Let's take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. Welcome back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We just watched the latest round of Flying Husky Racing, round 7, and Jacob Exton took the victory from the front row, but that doesn't tell the whole story, as he certainly had some adventures today. Broomhead came home behind him in P2 from 6th on the grid, with Horvath rounding out the podium, almost losing it on the final lap with a spin. Colander rounds out our drivers on the lead lap, DJ finishing in 4th.
And behind Colander was Dan Garber, a lap down, followed by Tyler Scarali and James Doherty, with Hans Salnev coming back 3 laps down, and an early leader and early contender, Andrew Waring, suffering that damage and coming in 7 laps down in 9th.
It looks like we've got our winner ready to talk to us, Jacob Exton. Jacob, you started on the front row and you finished in the lead, but in between there, it seemed like you were in just about every position on the grid at some point. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, that was definitely an up and down race, and definitely feeling lucky to come away with the win. I wasn't the fastest driver out there today, but was able to stay consistent and avoid the back markers, which is always fun in this series when you come through. I don't think they're coming with mirrors anymore.
It doesn't seem like it sometimes. Talk to us about the slipstream out there. It looked pretty powerful. How far back did you really start to feel those effects?
You can get a draft up to about 1.1, but usually 0.9 seconds, you really start to notice it kicking in. So I was really focused on staying defensive, taking that inside line for corner 1, even though it doesn't set you up as well for 2. I found I was able to go a little later on the brakes and sort of force them guys into a mistake there. So I was at least happy with that defensive effort. And then, yeah, luckily things played out well for me in front again, and the lead opened up. So, yeah, quite happy with that.
I would be as well. So coming to the end, when you had Broomhead trying to chase you down, were you aware of how much he was cutting into things? And did that force you to push, or did you stay calm?
Oh, yeah, he wasn't making things easy at all. I was hoping just to sort of maintain the gap. I think it was 5 seconds at the start, but he was driving like a man possessed. So I definitely had to light a fire under my own arse. It's a tough track, and I honestly wasn't too familiar with it. So getting power down can be a little difficult and hairy at times. So I was really more focused on not making a mistake. I knew I was going to lose a little bit, was just confident that I'd be able to defend if it came to it. So luckily I just had enough time.
Well, congratulations on the win. Who helped put the 22 in victory lane?
Actually, Mike Broomhead did. He got me onto the squad here. It has really encouraged me, especially when things haven't been going so well for me. So a big thank you. He works really hard for everyone and provides some awesome library. So thank you, Michael.
Love the camaraderie in this group. That was Jacob Exton taking the win today. DJ has caught up with Michael Broomhead himself, actually, who finished 2nd today.
Well, Michael, it was a fearsome race out there, lots of up and down, but I want to talk to you at first about those last couple of laps. It looks like you almost had the speed to keep Jacob, and then it just sort of stalled out at that 2 minute or 2 second mark.
Yeah, I had some good pace. At one point, I think it was like a second a lap faster or something. I was really getting excited about it, but yeah, I think Jake had a little extra. I think he was cruising a little bit there, nice and comfortable. I don't know if that was true or not, but I definitely thought I had something, but yeah, I mean, tricky conditions, a little bit slippery. It was hard to get the power down. So, hey, I'm happy with 2nd after all that.
Well, I would certainly be happy for it as well. But I want to ask you about the livery. Now, it looks spectacular, and we kind of went into the story, but tell us all you can about it, man, because I really love this.
Yeah, it was just something a little fun in COVID times. You know, up here in Canada, we're still struggling a little bit with all that. So there's not a lot to do. But since I make these liveries all the time, I thought I would extend that to some good people. And of course, the daughters. We have another one, another livery next week. That's going to be the 7-year-old. But yeah, just something special, something different, something fun. You know, Annabelle's an artist herself, so she likes to create things, and we thought it'd be good to share.
Well, I love it, and we'll be looking for the next one out. And speaking of that next one out, Road Atlanta, a little bit of a different track, obviously a little bit more elevation down in the hills of Georgia. How do you think that's going to go in these open wheelers? We're used to normally seeing more Fender-type cars run around there.
Yeah. In the official races on iRacing, they go to Road Atlanta a lot. I think on the shorter track, I've won races on that before. I'm pretty happy with Road Atlanta as a track in general. It's a fun track. The high curbs may come into it a little bit with these cars, but I think it will create some exciting racing as it usually does. Quick laps too, which is always fun.
Indeed it is. Michael, anybody you'd like to thank for this second place here tonight?
Yeah, of course. As always, the support from my family and, of course, Mimi, the mother of Annabelle, and the sponsors, Mountain Range Marketing, Leeds Foundation, of course, all the guys at Britannia. We have some fun in this series, and, of course, Flying Husky themselves. Todd wasn't able to make it today, but he's racing driving real cars, so, we thought we'd put on a good show for him.
I think it was a good show indeed. That was your second place finisher, Michael Broomhead. And now Joe Peak has caught up with your third place finisher, Nick Horvath.
Indeed, Nick almost throwing away that third place a couple moments there at the end. Nick, when you went by the accident in front of you towards the end of the race, suddenly you find yourself in the gravel. What's going through your mind at that moment?
Honestly, I totally lost concentration when I saw all that. I was just trying to make up as much time as I possibly could after stalling out after that mess in front of me in the first corner. It caught me off guard. I didn't really expect to get that many spots back that quickly and actually try to recover that. It actually just sort of surprised me, and I missed my braking point.
Now, did you have any damage after that? It looked like you did touch the tires a little bit, but you carried on anyways.
I brushed the tires, but you know what? It felt straight enough, and I was in third place, so by all means, I was finishing that race.
It makes sense to me. You might as well carry on. So a third place here. This caused a lot of chaos at times, which surprised us a little bit, but we tend to expect it at a place like Road Atlanta, which is an incredibly punishing track. Can you repeat that feat down there?
Well, I think so. Road Atlanta is one of my favorite tracks of all time, really. So I got to try and do well there.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a podium. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this one?
Big thank you to Mike for actually bringing me on the team and, you know, showing me how to be faster and teach me a lot of stuff that I really didn't know. And also a big shout out to Vitiated for sponsoring the car again. Thanks, guys, for always supporting me here. It's just been a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for coming and talking to us. That was Nick Horvath, third place finisher here for round 7 in Flying Husky Racing. That's going to close out our interviews as well. So we want to thank the sponsors once again. Of course, Norsled, Save a Husky. For more information, contact Todd Curtis through email at todd@flyinghusky.racing. And of course, Flying Husky Racing themselves. Find out more on the web at flyinghusky.racing. And remember, track days are the best days. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music, See the Screen, for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, DJ, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Also, check out our social media through the outlets listed at the bottom of the screen. And if you'd like to support the channel, check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. There's a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment, because next week we'll be going to Road Atlanta Tuesday, June 1st at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.